Hi, my name is Michael Paul, and I'm a worship leader and also a worship song band user. I just want to take a few minutes to show you some of the great functionality that you can get out of this free program called Worshipsong Band, which you can get at worshipsong.com. Currently, you're probably hearing a track that's playing in the background. We downloaded this track from Worship Tutorials. It was a free download. Very professional sounding track. I took those tracks and put into this software. I just want to show you some of the functionality that you can get by doing that. Of course, looking at the top, you can see from left to right at the main top all the sections. It's broken down. We're currently in the chorus there, and we're tracking through. As you can tell, that section is turned red to tell us that we're in that section of the song. For instance, if we wanted to repeat a section of the song, we could just click. For instance, I'm going to click on the intro of the song. You notice that it just turned green. When it gets to the end of the chorus, it's going to jump and go there, and it does it very smoothly. Now we're back in the intro of the song again. If you noticed on the screen, the words, our lyrics, and our chords just matched up with that jump as well. We can keep playing through there, and just like we were, if we wanted to jump to a different section of the song, we could do that. I'll click over here on the instrumental section, and when it gets to the end of the verse, it's going to jump and go to that section of the multi-track as well. So we'll give that a few minutes to do that. And like I said, this track was provided by worshiptutorials.com, a very professional sounding track. I really like it, so you may want to go check those guys out when you get a second. And now we're in the instrumental section of the song. Now another feature I want to show you about is if you look down at the main bottom, you're going to see where it says fade tracks, default, boost, and pads. That's actually some custom mixing that I set up with inside of this program. And so what we can do there, and I'll just click on the mixer up here at the top. If you look beside the little light bulb, you'll see the mixer button. Before I do that, let me have that to jump there. Yeah, beside the little light bulb, if you click on mixer, this is currently showing all the instruments that makes this multi-track. So from left to right, you're looking at master, click, cues, and the rest of the stems for this track. You noticed when we went into the mixer setting, our song flow still shows. That never leaves. You always have visibility to know where you're at in the song, audibly as well. So what you can do with these custom tracks, for instance, if I click one of these buttons, if I do fade tracks, it's going to fade our mixer down. We'll fade everything out except for the clicks, cues, clicks, and our master. And I had already set that up previously to do that. You can make these custom mixes to mix it any way you want to do it. So for instance, I can click default, and that's going to take me back to where we just was. If I click on boost, it's going to actually boost that. Like I said, you can set these sliders at any level that you want to set up a custom mix. If I wanted to, say on a particular part of the song, I wanted everything to fall out but the pads, and so I wanted to play maybe acoustic guitar over top of that, so I could set up a custom mix and call it pads. If we click on that, you notice it takes everything out except for the pads, and we're only hearing click and cue in the left side in our in-ears anyway. So the only thing that would be coming out through the house would be the pads and whatever instruments we wanted to play over top of that. So that's a really nice feature. I'm going to take it back to default, and I'm going to show you something that's kind of interesting that you can do here. For instance, if you got to a section of the song, you can actually set up these custom mixes to change automatically. And the way that you do that, for instance, you click on any section of the song, and you would go to cue preset. Then you're going to select one of these custom mixes, which is the same thing that these buttons down here do manually. So for instance, in the instrumental part, if I wanted it just to be pads, if I wanted everything else to fall out, I would select pads. Now what's going to happen is when it gets to this section of the song, it's all the sliders are going to drop down to this custom mix that we set up earlier. So when it gets to instrumental, you're going to hear that take place. Now in the next section of the song, say I want it to go back to say I want it to boost. I want you know, let's say we want to do default. Let's do that. We'll just take it back to where it was. So when it hits instrumental, everything's going to fall out but the pads. When it gets back to verse 3, it's going to do you know, its default standard as it should be. Now let's say on the chorus we want to boost it. We want to really kind of rock the chorus on this song a little bit. So what we do is we go down and we select our boosted mix, custom mix that we set up. Now after that, so we want everything to go back to default, we would go, say, our tag section. We would click that and we would cue that to be a default section. So I'm going to go ahead and get us to jump up here to the chorus, and you'll see our sliders exactly how our levels on our custom mix are affected, and how automatically you can create a custom mix that takes place over the sections. Like I said, this is a free program provided by Worshipsong.com. You can go there, download it free. It's for PC, Mac, Android, and iPads on the Apple devices. And watch our sliders. Okay, it all fell out. The only thing we have playing is our pads currently. And once we get out of the instrumental section, it's going to bring us back to our default custom mix that we set up. You'll see the sliders go up. So that's a pretty cool feature. It's a really cool feature, actually. Like I said, this multi-track was provided by worshiptutorials.com as a free download. I think you can currently still go get that. It's a very good sounding track. I really like the way it sounds. It's got a good acoustic, traditional version of Blessed Assurance. So as we're coming out of verse 3 here, we're going to see that it's going to boost the chorus just like we said it would. It's going to take all the levels up, and again, you can set these custom mixes up to do anything you want. I just think this is a really, really cool feature inside of Worshipsong Band, and you know, the possibilities are endless there, and how you want to set a custom mix up over a section. It kind of gives you the ability kind of to change the dynamics to the song. Now we're going into the tag, which should come back down to our default mix, and it does, which is exactly where we started at. So again, you can click any section and you can jump there. Of course, you can clear these out. Like for instance, I'm going to clear all these out now by clicking clear cue. Go to cue preset, clear cue. I jumped us to the tag by accident, but that's okay. So that's a really neat feature inside of Worshipsong Band. And of course, you know, if we go back to our chord screen, one thing that we can do inside of here as well is we can capo the song. For instance, this song is in the key of D. If we wanted to play it in a different position, say somebody was already playing in open D and we didn't want to have the same sound and we're doing two acoustic guitars, you could basically click to capo at any position. As you see, we're still playing in D, but we're just playing in the C position instead of in the D position. So that's really cool. You can adjust the tempo of the song. You can bring it up a little bit if you want to speed it up some. You can slow it down. I'm going to turn the capo off, and you can actually change the key of your song as well. For instance, if you stop the song, you can change your key by clicking there and selecting whatever key, and it will transpose and change your tracks to match that key. And you can also do your tempo as well. So that's pretty cool. Some other things that you can do inside of Worshipsong Band is you can actually display your lyrics to the house, and I'll show you how that looks. I've already, that's already set up inside of here as well to do. And you just click down here in the bottom left corner where it shows the two computer screens, and you're going to pick either a still background image or a video. I've got the endless candles selected, so I'll go ahead and click on the two computer screens here to close that out, and then I'll go over here to on my keyboard and I'll push L, and it will show me kind of the way that it's going to look as this is presented to the house from Worshipsong Band. If you want to see it in full screen, you hit the F button on your keyboard. Now you have full screen. Of course, you could see that it's going to change the lyrics as this song goes along. It's going to also change that automatically for you as well, which is a really awesome feature for a program that you can download for free. Take that back off. Some settings that I really do like. You can also use Worshipsong Band as a in-ear system. So if you're your church is on a budget and you can't really afford the total in-ear system, you can use Worshipsong Band to do that. And the way that it does it is it does it by networking devices together. So you can have one device set up as a master, and so you could have somebody, bass player or a guitar player on their iPads or on an Android tablet, and they could be following the master device. So if they got their in-ears plugged into, say, their iPads, if they got their earbuds plugged into an iPad, then they can control their individual mixes of these tracks by clicking on Band Mix. Currently, you see that clicking cues is going to the left side. I've got everything else not in the in-ear mix set for the click and the cues currently. But if you wanted to bring the bass in or the shaker, you could bring the shaker in. If you wanted to do acoustic guitar, whatever you wanted to bring into your individual mix, you could do that. And that is given an individual mix to each person on the team that is following this master device over Wi-Fi, and I'll show you how that works right here. If you go into settings and you look at the networking mode, basically you can set each device up as either a master, or if you click on show chords, it's actually going to be in slave mode, which means it's following the master device. So if you've got a master device set up in your sound booth that's running your lyrics from Worshipsong Band for the congregation, it's also running the tracks to the house, you can set it up as a master device. All the other devices on stage could be set up in show chords mode, which is the slave mode, and basically everything on stage will be following your master device. Now, what's interesting is, say you're the worship leader and you want to control the master device, which is set up in the sound booth. You can click down here to enable remote control. So basically you can have your master device, whether it be on a PC or a Mac, set up in your sound booth, and you can control Worshipsong Band, all the features and the way that it jumps sections and repeats sections. You could have it do that from the stage if you like. That way you got total control, but you've got your master device that's basically running everything, out of the way off stage, so you wouldn't have to have your MacBook or your computer on stage. So that's a really neat feature on the way the networking works. It syncs the audio playback between devices, so there's no latency. It uses Ableton Link to do that, which is built inside of the programming on Worshipsong Band. You can enable song copy, which means you can share your track files. You can send those to your team so they can take their devices home and actually practice when they're not at the church, which is the feature that I love the most. I can go to church and I can take this and I can give a track that I just set up the way that we're going to do it, and I can dispense that out to distribute that out to the rest of the team so they can practice that when they're not at the church, when they have time at home, which is an awesome feature, because we all know that practice takes place at home. Rehearsal happens at the church, right? So that's a really awesome feature of Worshipsong Band. So getting off of the networking feature, I've already talked about the lyric display. Here's some settings and some options that you can do. It adjusts to the window size of your screen that you're using. You can actually do a lead time that you're basically is how soon do you want your lyrics to change before it gets to that actual section of the song. So you can do up to 3 seconds there, which is a really awesome feature. You can change any of the background. You can add images. Excuse me. You can add images into Worshipsong Band, whether it be a video as a background or a still image. You can center those, and here's how you adjust the lyric size, the words that the congregation is going to be seeing on the screen. You can also control Worshipsong Band with a MIDI pedal if you have one. You've got 14 different settings here, from volume controls to crossfading to repeating sections, jumping sections, play and pause of your track. So there's a lot you can do there. Audio output's really interesting too, because if you notice, it's currently set to 2 channels, but say for instance you want to run out of Worshipsong Band and you wanted to run into audio interface, and for instance you wanted to, on your tracks, you wanted to give your sound guy more capability to control the sound of your track. So what you could do is you could group, for instance, your bass and drums. Say you want to send it on one track to the board, to the sound man. You could do that. You could put those on one channel. If you wanted to send out, say, your guitars on a channel and have those grouped, you could do that. If you wanted to, on another channel, send out the piano and the keys and synths on a channel, you could do that. So you could separate and you could separate those out and send it to the board so that your sound man can mix excuse me, I'm kind of choked up here. So you can mix the individual instruments, so you would have more control and a better sound. So that's a really nice, awesome feature to do that. So I think I've went over pretty much everything. Network mode, chord display. This is just if you want, what size chords you want, what size lyrics you want, what color you want your chords or lyrics to be. And if, say for instance, you're a vocalist and you don't play an instrument, you could select display lyrics only, and that way on their device they would be able to just have lyrics and have it follow the master device. They don't have to do anything but look at their iPad or Android tablet on stage to know where they're at. So this is a really awesome piece of software. Of course, this is the library section of Worshipsong Band. As you see, I've got several songs loaded in here, and all you would have to do is, for instance, select one. Like we'll select Blessed Assurance, provided by Worship Tutorials, and I would say show song, and there that is. If you want to build a set list inside of Worshipsong Band, that's easy enough to do as well. All you have to do is click on this little dot over here and add current song, and you can build your set list, and you can share those set lists with your team, and that way you can be prepared on Sunday morning. Everybody's had this on their devices at home to practice. It's time to rehearse. You got your set list built. You got lyrics, you got chords. It's an awesome free piece of software. Like I said, this is provided for free. You can download Worshipsong Band for free by going to worshipsong.com. Go over to Worship Tutorials as well and pick up this free copy of a very traditional, it's a very good recording of a traditional song called Blessed Assurance. So I think that's it for today. I hope I've not been too long and kind of went through this too fast, but there's a lot of features inside of Worshipsong Band. Like I said, if you got any questions, you can contact us at worshipsong.com. Until next time, keep rocking for Jesus. And like I said, this is Michael Paul. I'm out of here. Have a blessed day.